You're listening to She's the Business podcast. Now, more than ever, online businesses are experiencing an environment where we're constantly bombarded by low price competition and tend to undercharge just to win the business. So if that sounds a little bit like you or something that you're currently struggling with, you're going to want to stick around for today's short tips episode. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm your host, Jessica Osborne, and in my 23 years of business and marketing, I've built many brands to become multi-billion-dollar companies. And just in the last 10 years, I've built 2 online businesses of my own from my dining room table with 2 little babies running around at my feet. I've made it my mission to inspire you to get out of your own way and become the successful business owner who's living the lifestyle you really desire without all the hustle. This is She's the Business podcast, made by women for women. This is your weekly dose of motivation and inspiration. Hey, how's it going? So we're going to talk today a little bit about differentiation and, why this is really, really important. So if you are in a service-based business, like maybe you're an online professional, you offer creative services like website design, social media, copywriting, even professional services like accounting, law, all of those things. You're operating online and in an online space. You're in a crowded market already because with the internet it means that we've got a global market really. People can reach around to people anywhere and utilize their services. So this market is already crowded and it's only going to get more and more crowded because more and more people are realizing that, hey, I don't actually need to do this as a job anymore in a company. I can work from home. I can do the hours that I want. I can work for myself. And, we all know how great that freedom is when we're doing that. So, there'll be more and more people with COVID happening. Maybe they are forced to give this business thing a punt. So they're going to be entering the market. And where we might have used to have a lot of success in, just creating a really great brand and a strong brand message and being clear about what we do. And that used to be enough, for sure. But now, honestly, it's not enough. You can go online, just go and look at 5 to 10 competitors online on the social media and see what they're posting about. And you're probably going to read their posts and think, gosh, I could have written that, or that's exactly what I say. There's just so much sameness out there, especially when people are focusing on lots of how-to content because, anyone can tell someone how to do something if they know the method for it. This is, I guess I want you to think a little bit differently about it. It's, when we are doing the same thing as everybody else, then it's very, very hard to differentiate. And there's right ways and wrong ways, I think, to be different as well. I see some people trying to be different by just literally standing out by being super bold or wacky or, swearing in their posts or, kind of being shocking, standing out in that way. Sure, you might get a bit of attention, but I'm not sure if it's all the kind of attention that you really, really want. You might think, well, I just attract the people who are in tune with me and they're my ideal customer. But, there are other ways of standing out. And if that kind of stuff doesn't work for you and doesn't sit right with you, don't worry. You don't have to do that to stand out. It's not one of my recommended methods at all. What I do think is, real differentiation actually is a whole lot of different aspects of your strategy that come together to create something that's different. So it's not just in your brand. Yes, branding is part of it. We really utilize your brand strategy to, figure out what is that uniqueness about you? What is your brand message? How do you sound? How do you look? That's uniquely you. But we can talk about what your brand voice sounds like, but what are you actually saying that's different? And I think that, if you look in your niche, you'll probably find there's a lot of people saying the same things. Like I could look up any life coach and they probably say they help people get clarity and confidence. If I look up a copywriter or a social media manager or anyone even in the marketing space, they all say, I can help you to win your ideal clients or attract your ideal clients. That term is now so overused, whereas when I started this business 4 years ago, it absolutely wasn't. And, I used it myself back then, but I've changed and adapted because, the worst thing is to become part of this sea of sameness. And I'm always looking and adapting and adjusting to make sure that, what I'm saying is clear. It's very clear on what I deliver, but it also stands out and really speaks to my ideal client. And it's unique. There's no point me saying it if 10 other people are also saying it and we all sound like a bunch of parrots saying the same thing. That's not going to help any of us. So part of it is branding, yes. Part of it is your message. So the message is not your brand. The message is, what you're saying. The brand is how you're saying it, your style, your voice, how you look, the real purpose that comes behind it. So there are two elements. Then it's, what space are you really in? And that's another great way to differentiate is by being very specialized and having a very clear ideal customer as well. You can specialize in two different ways there, and both of them can help you be really, really successful at standing out again, being that one that is obviously the right choice. You want to be the right choice. The other thing which I do as well, and this is what I teach my clients to do in Business Jam and through my coaching programs, is to create a unique method. It's a unique method that nobody else has or can copy because it's uniquely you. It's branded with you. And this is a really great way to create a difference in what you're saying because you're always, tying it back to your method. So this method of creating it is part of phase 1 of my framework. That's Path to Prosperity. It's a growth framework that I take my clients through. There's 3 phases. In the first phase, we're doing all of this identity and strategy alignment, like figuring out what is uniquely you, what is your value, how do we package it into services and price them to be profitable. That all has to be aligned before we get out there to market it. So that's phase 1. Phase 2 is how you attract people in, create that really great customer journey and a good experience. So they get to know, like, and trust you. The words that you already know, you hear lots of people talk about. But I'm talking here about a real customer journey that is aligned and linked, and it is intentional so that they get through to your sales point. And then that is phase 3 of my framework, which is all about customer experience and systems. And this is where we look at, streamlining, automation, efficiency, and providing the best experience for your customers so that it's easy for them. They want to come back and do it again. So that's my framework that I teach. But this is something I also use to create differentiation because this is my framework that I have developed of my own method, and what I do is what I teach. It's what I talk about as well. So in that way, you can see that there is, a real differentiation happening there. Now, if you haven't figured out your strategy and how you are different, how you're standing out in the market, ultimately that means that you're going to be doing things like competing on price because someone's comparing apples with apples. One of my clients, Georgina, before she started Business Jam last year, she was a resume writer and she was in a very crowded online space, lots of resume writers, lots of people who can do that. And, she was competing on price because she felt like that was the only way to compete. She didn't know how to set herself apart from the other people who were offering the same service as her. And she even based her service and her pricing on what competitors were doing. So again, there was really no way to differentiate except by price. But when she went through my method, my Pathway to Prosperity framework, and through Business Jam, I really coached her on how to find and unpack her unique value, what it was that she was bringing, who she was best to work with, and the outcome she could get them. All of those things, we unpacked it all and put that into her messaging, branded it uniquely her in a really authentic and true to her way. She's not a flashy person. She wasn't a wacky person. So it's really about getting that right personality out there so that people can engage with it. We did that, and the immediate change that she saw was she priced higher than her competitors, but she was winning the clients that she actually wanted to work with in the first place. Her ideal clients were being drawn to her. They were also signing up with her because they were really clear that she was the right person to help them. And that is around creating this really strong message and differentiation in this space, so that they weren't comparing her to someone else out there, because there was no comparison. And that, even in a crowded market such as resume writing, yes, it is 100% possible. That's what this is all about. So if you would like to improve the marketing of your business, then the first place we always start is with your ideal customer avatar. Now, my system for your ideal client is different to most. With my ultimate customer avatar worksheet, there are 35 questions to help you really deep dive into what your ideal client is currently thinking, feeling, and what their goals are, what they're doing in their buying behavior. Go to jessicaosborne.com/customer-avatar to download your free copy of my ultimate customer avatar worksheet today. And let's get started on defining who that ideal client really is.